next speaker in the house, we have Garima Dutt. She is CSR lead for GSK. She will be talking about power of being the change. Garima Dutt is a graduate in History Honours from St. Stephen's College, Delhi, and a postgrad in Social Work from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She has specialization in urban and rural community development, and she also holds a post-graduation diploma in human rights law from National Law School, University of India, Bangalore. So ladies and gentlemen, put our hands together for Garima Dutt. 10 seconds clap. Come on guys, loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. The end of employees. We'll come to know what happens next. Thank you so much, ma'am.
A team of ASAF for inviting me here. I'm going to be talking about a topic which is extremely close to my heart, and that is employee volunteering. I'm going to talk about how not just various forms of employee volunteering, and the speaker before me, Madhura, had covered a large part of what impact can be created through employee volunteering. I'm going to just share about some of the instances where we've actually measured this impact and how we are going to create stories of change, right? That's the starting point of employee volunteering and designing that. What is your story of change? What is the theme area that you're going to pick out where all the employees can rally and actually make a difference? Just to share an example, for GSK, we are the founding partners of UN 2030, Impact 2030. This is a UN-led corporate-based initiative dedicated to progressing the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And we've carved out that all our employees and our volunteering initiatives are going to be towards progressing 2 goals. That is goal number 3, which is good health and well-being, and goal 4, which is quality education. We've defined our purpose as to what is it that we want to achieve through volunteering, and that is to create greater strategic alignment between our employees' skills and the GSK purpose, which is to do more, feel better, live longer. Before I dive into various types of volunteering, I'd just like to talk about whether it's one-day initiative or it's a full-time volunteering. What is important is that these volunteering initiatives be skills-based. Very, very simply put, skills-based volunteering is when people use their professional skills or experience to support a non-profit organization or a community directly. These could be extremely general skills like you tutoring, spoken English, computers, etc. Or these could be specific skills. Madhura had talked about how their entire department had actually contributed to a project, right? Also similarly, your HR designing HR processes, your IT services actually reviewing an IT proposal for you, your procurement helping you establish how to get quotations and how to find vendors, right? Or how to onboard them. So, or your finance just helping you out with your audit process, or your accounting, reviewing your process. So all these are skills-based initiatives, and it's important whether it's one day, 8 hours, or whether it's a full-time, that all the volunteering be skills-based. So just to give you an external benchmark, typically organizations look at 8 to 40 hours. At GSK, we have a facility of 8 to 60 hours of skills-based volunteering. So like I said, there are various forms of volunteering. You could actually volunteer your time, or you could volunteer your money, right? So the idea, I think one of the questions were also as to, there are various interests, and people want to be engaged with various projects, right? So you give that kind of a flexibility, but at the same time, because you are saying that this is a skills-based initiative, because you're measuring impact, it's important that you rally around a larger purpose, right? So when I talk about volunteering time, it could be one day, it could be full-time, or it could be flexible skills-based volunteering along with your day job. At GSK, we actually have all of these options available. A lot of times people tell me that one day of volunteering is just a bit of an eye wash, it's just a feel-good factor, people just go, visit, and come back, right? But I think it is up to us how we design it. So just to give you a very small example, in Mumbai, and I'm giving you an example only of Mumbai, but this is across all our locations, including our upcoming manufacturing unit in Vemgal. So our employees have actually partnered with a non-profit organization that is looking at creating communities open defecation free, right? And our employees actually go and do the household survey. So that's the power of one day. That's the power of 8 hours. So you've covered actually 2,400 families. You've covered 7 slums, door-to-door survey, which can be used by the organization to then plot that, okay, which are the households that require an individual toilet, which of them are willing to do a pay and use, and then also design your pay and use model, right? So your volunteering initiative, your 8 hours are actually sustained and have a larger impact. That's the power of one day. It's all about how you're designing it, whether it's playing games with kids or whether it's actually a skills-based volunteering, right? We also have something called full-time volunteering. This is 3 to 6 months, fully sponsored through company. Your salary is protected, your incentives are protected, and because we really believe that this is actually making a difference even for the organization. So we say change communities, change yourself, and change the organization. I'll give you a small example. The lady here you can see is actually Aarti. She is an HR person, and she was a Pulse volunteer last year. She's volunteered for an organization called Nirmaya Health Foundation, and she created an entire HR process there, right? So she's actually in GSK, she's only looking after recruitment. But in Nirmaya, she also helped them set up their payroll, their attendance, their performance management, their learning and development. So look at it from Aarti's point of view. From being a specialist in recruitment, she's actually experimented also with a generalist profile. Look at it from GSK's point of view. We actually have a resource that we could actually use for other functions in HR. And look at it from a point of view of the organization, where having to hire an HR consultant would actually cost them a bomb. So here, there is a resource that is just dedicated for that. There is another great thing about full-time volunteering, and that is learning agility. These are some of the statistics, like I said, measuring impact, what gets measured gets done. So measuring impact is really, really close. And I'm not just talking about SROI, I'm also talking about the qualitative aspects that you're looking at. And if you look at the statistics, 91% of our volunteers believe that their colleagues and their line managers also feel that they have higher learning agility. Continuing from the same example, at some point in time, she had to buy a printer. Now, there's no procurement in a non-for-profit, in that particular non-for-profit. And she actually had to go and get quotations, get a printer, look at specifications, right? So end-to-end project management is something that she also picked up. There is another ongoing project that we have. So we run a sanitary pad manufacturing unit with rural women. And one of our sales force is a full-time volunteer, and his main task is to make that unit profitable in the next 3 years. In 5 months of his project, it's a 6-month project, in 5 months of his project, he's achieved 70% increase in productivity and an 80% reduction in prices. This is because a lot of times not-for-profit organizations do not have business skills, right? And we're working with one of the leading international organizations. And if they are lacking this skill, it means that there is a lot of scope, a lot of power in corporate volunteering. It's about finding a right fit and a right skill match. Again, I could go on and on about what will be the advantage of when Yogesh comes back from that project for GSK. Because he's in sales, and this is, so to say, a customer group that he's never really experimented with, he not only would come back with the greatest sense of what access to healthcare really means, he will also come back with a higher business acumen. Because right now, he's not only creating operating models, he's also creating financial models, business models, he's doing benchmarking. So he's doing everything that we kind of propagate in the organization for a project management, right? The ADP skills, he's actually putting them to practice. How do you diagnose? How do you design? How do you implement? And how do you actually embed and grow? Keeping sustainability in mind, because his 6 months will be a failure in case it does not become profitable, it is not sustained, right? So we make sure that the NGOs are backing it with resources, enough time commitment. And of course, I talked about skills-based volunteering. Not everybody would want to do full-time. Not everybody would want to do just one day. They would want to do more. So you provide opportunities. Skills-based volunteering, we've adopted an after-school center, and we're providing them spoken English. Once again, 1 year, we run this just 1.5 hours a week I was talking about 1 day, power of 1 day. I'm going to give you 1.5 hours a week for 12 months, 55% increase in their percentage in English, math, and computers. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of volunteering. Like I said, there is an option of volunteering time. There's also people who might not want to give time for whatever reason. So you have payroll giving. You have various platforms like Give India, Goodera for payroll giving, and also fundraising events. So we have a global partnership with Save the Children, and we actually have a branded program called Orange United, where we organize bake sales, game stalls, fun and fair, just to raise money for this partnership. And this money is matched by GSK. It has a very powerful goal, the partnership. It's to save 1 million children's lives. And we are backing it with R&D. We are backing it with, so the money that is raised and matched. When we talk about 1 million, we're actually measuring that. So like I said, backing it with R&D, looking at nutrition aspects, looking at saving children from trafficking. So there is a whole gamut of how we are going to reach these 1 million children. So I'll just leave you with a thought. Social change needs multi-stakeholder partnership. And if you actually look at it, volunteering can be much, much more than a feel-good factor. You can never discount what employees feel when they spend time in the community. I never find a challenge in enrolling volunteers. It's only about taking them for the first time in community. Whatever that takes, whether it takes, Madurai talked about incentivization, whether it takes recognition, we're looking at recognition, we're looking at leadership speaking, whatever it takes to get them for the first time. And I assure you that sustenance is not a challenge, because there's a lot of self-motivation. There is a clear program, clear deliverable, a process. Once it's set in place, then all the efforts keep on rolling. A beautiful quote that always inspires me. I'll leave you with that and open the floor to questions, if any. Yeah, please, feel free. She's not forgetting the 10-second clap. Any questions? I'll be happy to take. Please. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Which might attract an individual to join your organization. Are you highlighting that as a part of your job profile in the communication when you give for different roles?
Correct. So in our campus placements through our website, we are talking about how we've created several opportunities for people to volunteer time, because increasingly statistics is showing that people are more inclined to joining socially responsible organizations, and volunteering is a large front end, to show that, yes, we are socially responsible and we're kind of engaging you as well in this whole responsibility. So I would definitely edge, yes.
And do you also check at exit?
At exit, no. But that's a good suggestion. I shall go back to my HR and ask them to include it. But we do track, at least for the Pulse volunteer, one of the slides would show you, we do track what's the growth of Pulse volunteers. And are they doing something differently, or are they doing something different within the organization? How many of them are retained? How many of them are leaving? So at least for Pulse volunteers, because we feel we back it with a lot of resource, right? This is an international assignment. I've given you examples of volunteers who are volunteering within India. But Pulse Partnership is actually open even to international assignments. So a person from medical has actually gone to Vietnam and looked at child nutrition. Because nutrition is a focus area even for GSK. So it's a lot of resource. Like I said, it's fully backed, and that's why that we are tracking much closely. Please.
Yeah, great speech, Garima. I would like to ask you, how do you assess the impact of your initiatives? So the employee, their contribution of their time, how do you assess the impact of the work that you do as an organization?
Sure. So every program, like I said, would be measured. For Orange Day, it is about whether it was sustained or not. So if we've gone, if we've gone in the villages, then we've done a survey of how many are individual households, how many are willing to create toilets, how many are not, and what kind of payment they are willing to make. We see that have we actually been able to convert that village into ODF or not. So that's for Orange Day. For Pulse, it is because it's project specific. So like, for example, at the end of it, there is a 360-degree review where we involve NGOs to ask them what is it that they thought was. So there's a proper, like a PDP form that we use for our own GSK evaluation. We use it for even the NGO assignment. So in Yogesh's case, if there isn't a business plan which has got proof of concept, it means that he won't be rated very high. However, if he's able to crack it, which is obvious that he's going to, then he would be rated a certain thing. So and after 6 months of the end of the project, we go back to the organization and see how that project is working. Because that's critical to what we say, that whatever our Pulse volunteers are investing so much time, GSK is investing resources, so is that sustained or not? Right? And SBV also, like I said, if you're doing coaching, we are measuring difference in learning outcomes. We're measuring difference in, so spoken English, we had targets of, okay, end of the year, they have to read out a book, read out a paragraph, depending on what the age group is, because there are multiple age groups. So we measure everything. It's not just for reporting purpose, honestly speaking. It's about, my next batch is only going to come. So people would repeat volunteering if they really felt that they made a difference. And new people will be joined in when they actually see that, yes, you know what, volunteering is not just about feel good, you are actually making a difference. So it serves all purposes. So we take measurement seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Hi. It was a wonderful presentation. We are quite glad to see something very innovative getting done through GSK on CSR. Actually, I have 2 questions. I need to ask them. Is that what were the challenges which you overcame in terms of workload coming in between of employee volunteering? Because obviously there would have been some work pressures for the employees to volunteer. Some work pressures might have come in between once they have decided to volunteer for such a wonderful initiatives. So how as an HR or CSR we have taken care?
Sure. So you're right. I think in the initial part of it, when we had started the process, it was challenging. Like I said, once a process is set, then it becomes easier and easier with every subsequent year. But initially, I think there was a lot of buy-in that we needed to take from the leadership. It was about releasing people from their daily jobs, and a lot of them are salespeople, right? Yeah. First batch was most challenging. I think from second batch, there is some change that they could also see in terms of adaptability, in terms of project management skills. A lot of our people moved one level up because they did much better in interviews. They did much better in trying to look at the bigger picture. So that was there. And I think Pulse is so embedded now that it's about sharing. So any department which is sending a Pulse volunteer, you share that job. We make sure that the Pulse volunteer has a separate ID and is not really, like involved in day-to-day work. But at the same time, through a monthly communication, through periodic calls, we make sure that they know what's happening in the organization, right? We also have an entire re-entry process, so which runs for about a month, where gradually the person comes back into their daily job. So it's not all of a sudden that you're back and you were like, acha chutti mana ke aaye ho here, now you do work. So I think that language has changed considerably. There is absolutely no doubt that it is leadership commitment as well. I think if leaders talk about and praise volunteers, recognize them in forums, volunteers get a chance to present the impact of their work, and people talk about it, you're not flippant about the language, right? And that's why it actually becomes motivating instead of discouraging.
Yeah. Thank you. The last question from my end is whether this employee volunteering remains only when an employee is with GSK, if in case he wants to continue even though he's out of GSK.
No, this is I have to be fair. This is for employees in GSK.
Okay.
We do kind of help their family members if they want to volunteer, so we carve out projects for them.
Okay.
But this is for GSKites in our family.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.